Hello, my name is Alex Clare Young, and my pronouns are they, them, or he, him. I grew up in Scotland and I moved to Manchester in 2009 to study music. Whilst studying, I felt the call to transition and I also started to feel a niggling call to ministry. I worked for 2 years as a university chaplaincy worker and also as a volunteer at an LGBTQ plus youth group. Once I worked out my call to ministry, I moved to Cambridge, where I trained for ministry, and I completed a Bachelor of Theology for Ministry and an MPhil. On graduating in 2019, I was called to part-time ministry alongside my postdoctoral studies, and my first book, Transgender, Christian, Human, was published last year by Wild Goose. I regularly take part in conferences and workshops and training sessions. I'm a minister in the United Reformed Church, in spite of and perhaps partially because of some deep difficulties with institutional religion, and I currently minister to an online community called Trustees. I also am conducting doctoral research into trans theology. I'm passionate about missional ministry from the margins, and in particular about ministry shaped around the needs, experiences, hopes and dreams of trans people, young people and the missing generation and neurodiverse people. These foci stem from my experiences, both very negative and very positive, of church and spirituality as a transmasculine autistic person in my late 20s. I live in a seaside town in Yorkshire with my wife Jo and my Jackawawa, 50% Jack Russell, 50% Chihuahua, 100% overindulged, who's called Digger. In my spare time, I enjoy walks on the beach, swimming in the sea, blogging, playing the clarsach, which is the Scottish folk harp, and the guitar, singing pretty badly, and doing any art or craft that I can get my hands on. I also really love meeting new people, so please do get in touch.
Hello, my name's Anne Bennet and I'm the Vicar of the Church of the Ascension in Blackheath, where we host Open Table South London. We've been running Open Table for a couple of years now and it's a privilege to do this. Open Tables are sometimes small but they're always moving and beautiful and I look forward to leading them each month. I'm just an ordinary vicar and a mum. I've always been horrified at the injustice in the church. I long for equality in marriage and I will do everything I can to campaign for equal rights, especially in the Church of England. All are welcomed, affirmed and loved in the Church of the Ascension, and I wish it was so across the land. I've seen firsthand the pain of rejection and the injustice of discrimination in my own family, and I'll do everything I can to campaign for justice. As a trustee, I bring my church, my MBA and my business experience and considerable experience of being a charity trustee, both for a schools academy trust and a local youth project. I'm honoured to be a trustee of the Open Table Network. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Julian Hollywell. I'm Vicar of Spondon in the Diocese of Derby and of 3 other parishes across the wards of Derwent, Chaddeston, Spondon and Wilmorton. We're part of a diverse fellowship of Anglican communities that meet in different ways and at different times to worship God and explore God's love in the communities where we live. I've a background in law and before becoming a parish priest worked in mission development in Manchester and in Liverpool. I looked at the nuts and bolts of community development from a business and legal perspective. I served my curacy in the Diocese of Manchester in Didsbury. My partner Kath is a pioneer minister here in the city of Derby, where she nurtures a fresh expression of church called the Journey Community. Some time ago, together, we hosted a listening day for LGBTQIA plus people here in Derby to make their voices heard and their stories known. Out of that came Open Table Derby, which we're really pleased to host here at the Parish Church of St Werburgh's in Spondon, and every month about 20 of us gather. Across the diocese, I serve as the chair of the House of Clergy, and I'm involved in the Church of England at a national level as a member of the General Synod.
Hello, I'm Lucy Berry. I was born in 1957. Mum had Bohemian, Jewish, Polish antecedents. Dad was descended from Isle of Wight boat builders. Grandma was a keen Christian Scientist. Dad was a paid-up atheist. Mum was a solid Christian. Dad was staunch Conservative. Mum was a socialist. Grandma voted Liberal. It was a tiny family, just us, where if one couldn't accept and enjoy difference, one was sunk. And different unremarked expressions of sexuality and love existed in the wider family. My first 15 years of work were as an advertising writer. People malign advertising a lot, but it's a bit like money. It's neutral. It's how you use it. It taught me to be mostly clear, both verbally and on paper. Later, I worked as an art therapist, creative writing teacher in HMP Holloway, as a brand consultant. I was poet in residence to Radio 2's Jeremy Vine show for 4 years. I went to church, I married in church, I left church, and I came back with the birth of my brown son, whom I brought up completely alone. As I said prayers for him and with him, I realised that a structure to our faith for many people is necessary. Eventually I was ordained. I don't like religion much because it so easily fails, but I love God. And we can't do without religion, and we can't do without God, and so I persevere. My current pastoral work is with a two-tribe congregation who are reconciling after murderous differences, and with individuals who church has rejected. I write hymns with a composer, I write plays with a theatre colleague, and I'm a performance poet. Does being straight make church comfortable for me? No, not often. I'm too aware of how easily churches become unwelcoming, and the moment that a church becomes unwelcoming, it's a club. It's not a church anymore. I find that painful and frightening, and so here I am.
Hi, I'm Neil Reese. Originally from Yorkshire, I came to Christ whilst in Paris on a work placement for my languages degree from Bradford University. And after a year working as a teacher back in Bradford, I entered Christian ministry with World Horizons and moved to Spain in 1985. It was there that I met my wife Lynn, and we spent the best part of 30 years working with evangelical churches and in Christian outreach in various parts of southern Spain. Our children, David and Laura, both currently live in Spain, in Madrid. Whilst living in Spain, I served as World Horizons International Director for 8 years and maintain today a strong interest in the global Christian community and in international development work. I'm still active in ministry in Ethiopia and in training and mentoring leaders from other parts of the world. Since 2012, we've lived back in the UK in Ormskirk near Liverpool, where I lead CLM Church, aiming to see our church become more relevant to the growing majority of the UK population with no real experience of church. And I hope that my understanding of cross-cultural ministry can also help the church to relate better to the changed world of the 21st century. I'm passionate about extending the same grace to others as God has shown us in Christ, and actively work to see our Christian community become more inclusive to all. And this has led me on a path to becoming an ally of LGBT+ Christians, and I'm glad to be able to give practical expression to this in serving the Open Table Network. I enjoy running, when I'm not injured, reading, cycling, drawing, being with people I love, and anything vaguely technical. I have an MA in International Development and 1 published book. Not everything in our Bibles is inspired, but don't be put off by the title. I also love languages, and I'm currently learning Mandarin Chinese.
Hello, my name's Sarah Hobbs, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story. I was born and grew up in Southampton, in Hampshire, and to be honest with you, until the age of 17, I barely even stepped foot inside a church. When I went to sixth form college, I inadvertently surrounded myself with a whole load of Christians who did the worst possible thing they could do for me. They prayed for me. Following a mission at that sixth form college, a lot of my stubborn objections, my concerns, my reservations all melted away, and I decided that I wanted to become a Christian. Since then, I've been part of a number of different denominations and churches, including helping to lead a church plant in a pub. I knew that I was transgender from a very, very young age and spent a lot of my life fighting against it, particularly latterly thinking how at odds with my faith it was. And knowing that my church thought that too meant that I really needed to leave, and I drifted for a while with no church to go to. I transitioned to live full-time as female in 2017 and decided that I really missed being part of a church family. So I joined Ripon Cathedral, which is near where I live, where I was really welcomed and very much supported, and have been given the chance to be involved in the work of the church again, which I've loved. At work, I'm a consultant and a trainer. I've been doing that for around 11 years, and 3 years ago I was asked to become managing director of the organisation I now lead, which is a real privilege. Over the last few years also, I've acted in a range of capacities for a number of third sector organisations, charities and church organisations. And I'm very much looking forward to getting to know you and to work alongside the Open Table Network. Thank you.